Today, let's talk about how to make other people see your value. We know that at the end of the day, you can't make a person see anything. If a person is committed to misunderstanding you, you can do whatever you want and they will misunderstand you. If they want to understand you, you can do whatever you want and they will still understand you. And that is actually the ingredient that we as INFJs need, because we can make it happen that people see our value much more likely than the approach most of us utilize. Because I can tell you from my own experience, I have done so much for people. I have invested so much. I have neglected myself. I have made space for other people to be everything that they can be, to see them in the best light, to connect to their core. And they have pretty much just blown me off and made me feel horrible. In that moment, people did not see my value. And again, that doesn't mean that I can do something to make other people see my value, but I know what isn't going to work, and I know also what is most likely going to make other people see our value. So let's talk about this, because isn't this super frustrating that we try our best? We do so much for another person and they can't even appreciate it and put us down. That is what hurts us very often. And this doesn't have to be something that is part of your life moving forward. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to work with me one-on-one, if you want to get the audio guide, if you want to check out the free material, you can find absolutely everything in the link in the description. If you want to tap and accelerate your INFJ epic life journey. It is in our nature to want to help people to get to the best version of themselves. It's just who we are and what we like, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The problem, though, is if we try to help people who don't want our help, who don't understand how much we've sacrificed for them, if they don't appreciate what we're willing to do for them because we have so much love for them, because we see how much they're suffering, and because it's in our nature to bring that out. It's like, I see that you're suffering, I see that you have like this big wound over here and nobody sees it, and I can fix this. I know exactly what you need. I know what you need to change. I can help you stop the bleeding. Just please allow me to do that. That's how it feels like to us very often. We see the pain, we know what we could do, and nobody else sees it. We're the ones who can see it. But that person doesn't want our help, doesn't think we're capable, and doesn't appreciate anything that we do. And then we're really in trouble because we continuously try to prove to them to listen to us, that we have good intentions, and the person actually loses more and more their perspective of what we're actually able to do for them. They lose respect for us. They, get angry that we engulf them, because it's like, oh, what makes you think you know what's best for me? You don't know me. So I'm like living my life and you want to come along and be like the big savior? Who do you think you are? That's what the reaction is very often. And, as I said, I've experienced this numerous of times, and I've always felt I don't have another choice. Like, what do you expect me to do? I see that wound. I see how you're suffering. How can I just walk away? That would make me a bad person. And it feels like I would be betraying myself, letting you suffer and letting you hurt yourself and others and just walking away. But that is exactly what we have to do. That being said, I personally have not found a way to get over that, to get to the other side of that, without having an outlet where I can actually give and it's being appreciated. So that's why I always encourage you, have an outlet where you can help. I, for example, have this YouTube channel. I'm speaking my truth. If you're interested in my truth, you watch my videos. If you're not interested in it, go do your own thing, right? That is an outlet. I'm giving what I have in abundance, what I have more of. I can give it to the outside, right? And we all have that. We all have something we can contribute. We all have something that we can, parent the world with. And if you have an outlet like this, you don't have the urge to give it to people who cannot accept your help at this moment. That being said, how are you going to make that person see your value? How are you going to make them see that first off, you have good intentions? Second of all, you probably do know best when it comes to this. And thirdly, how are you going to make them not only see what you can do for them, appreciate what you can do for them, but actually want to listen to you? And that is where we come to the big shift we have to make. We have to understand that the only way people see how much you're able to sacrifice for them is if you show them the opposite. It doesn't work any other way. So if you have somebody who's always kind and always nice and, is allowing another person to do whatever they want, that person is never going to be considered as strong, because that is exactly how a person would act who just didn't have any kind of internal conviction to stand for their truth. That person cannot distinguish between you, making the sacrifice for them, or you just don't having the strength to stand up for yourself and you just want to stay in their vicinity because it makes your life more interesting or whatever it may be. So that is a big aspect to it. Second of all, you are never going to convince a person that they should see their own worth because you're saying that to them, because you're allowing them to shine, as in, you're great, please, I'm making space for you. You're wonderful, be everything that you want to be. Because you might be saying those things, but what are you role modeling in that moment? You're role modeling, I don't value myself enough to put myself first. I'm willing to help you, although you're making me feel bad, although you're hurting me in the process. So you might be saying to them, believe in yourself, love yourself, but you're showing them, don't love yourself, sacrifice yourself, because that's what we're role modeling. People can only really tap into their own truth if you tap into your own truth. If you say, I love myself enough that I'm going to choose my well-being over anything else. That doesn't mean that you can't make compromises, that you can't sacrifice when it's needed, but you're not going to help people who are not allowing you to be everything that you are. And that is how people see your value. They're not seeing the value in how much you're sacrificing for them. They're going to see your value by you stepping your game up and saying, I'm going to find my value outside of what I can do for you. Have you ever thought about the fact that you might be taking your sense of value through the fact that you're saving them? I have definitely done that. I have chosen people in my life, friends, people that have just been in my vicinity, romantic partners, whom I felt I can save. And through me saving them, I felt my self-worth. But that is not where our potential lies. The fact that we think we have to save them, and the fact that we're willing to go overboard and help a person who doesn't appreciate our help or isn't capable of accepting it. And it doesn't have to be like a full-blown, deep thing. Even like the smallest things that we experience. If we have the subconscious belief that we have to prove our worth to that specific person no matter what, because that is our sense of worth, we're going to, of course, not inspire the other person to see our value as well. The thing that we have to do is to actually elevate ourselves, to know that we have to find our purpose independent of this one person. Yes, we can help people, but it doesn't have to be that person. It can be that we say, I'm going to find my worth outside of my closest relationships. I'm going to be who I'm meant to be, and I, have that outlet, for example, help people who want my help, and actually choose me and step up my game and believe in my value, independent of if that person is going to be saved by me. And even worse, and the more painful aspect of it all, is that if you choose you, if you let that person suffer, it will feel like you're actively hurting them. Because we feel it's our obligation to hurt. Remember, that person has this big wound. We're the only one who see it, and we make it our path to heal them. But at the end of the day, Only they can heal themselves. We're not doctors really talking about physical, help. And even if that was the case, the other person still has to be open to receiving your help. And again, people are not going to see your value through that because they're engulfed in their pain. They're overwhelmed by their own experience. The only way they might see your value, and a lot of people actually do, is when you start seeing your own value. And that means that you leave that person alone. That you go through the pain of, feeling like you're worthless, because that's how it felt for me, at least. I felt worthless if I didn't help a person who I thought I could help. But if they don't accept my help and push me down, on top of it, that's what I have to do. And that's when I recognize, okay, I need an outlet. I need an ability to bring out my gift and my purpose and, my value in life with, the amount of what I do. Because of course, at the end of the day, we're all valuable outside of what we do for other people. But of course, there's also a part of us who wants to contribute to the world, our unique perspective, our unique gift. And so knowing all of that, we have to be willing to sit in our pain, go through our pain of, okay, I feel like I'm worthless because I see that they're suffering. That could be my purpose. They do not want my help, and I let them down in the ditch, because that's how it feels like, no matter how much they're hurting you. And, saying in that moment, I have to protect myself. I have to put myself first. And inevitably, through you choosing your truth, a couple of things happen. First off, you become free, because your sense of self-worth isn't dependent on if you can help a particular person. You offer your help to the world. Whoever is open to receiving that, great, they can take it. But nobody who treats you in a way that is not in alignment with how you want to be treated. Through that, you also show people what it is to choose yourself. That you're willing to go against what is the norm, to go against what society wants you to be, because particularly as INFJs, us choosing our truth isn't normal. It's not the norm. I feel very normal. I feel, like a normal human being, like everybody else. But when I look around, when I would actively talk to people who are not INFJs, they would tell me, yeah, this is not normal. It feels completely normal to me. But I know, objectively speaking, the way I go through life, the fact that I have my unique worldview, that I can hold on to something, isn't the norm. Meaning it's not something everybody does. I'm not out here on like some podcast talking about like drama in some reality show. I can't do that. That's not me. Those are not the things I'm interested in. But those are the things a lot of people are interested in. And even if you would look into like intellectual pursuits and other things, every perspective is unique, and the way we show up stands out. A lot of people have no access to this. They don't understand what we're doing. They don't understand what we're about. And that is a price we have to pay. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And the changes I have seen in people around me are incredible. Because the moment you choose yourself, that's when people see your worth. And on top of that, they actually start seeing the worth in themselves as well. Because you become a role model, you become an inspiration. You're like, okay, I'm not what society deems to be perfect. I am me, and that makes me happy. And you standing in that allows other people subconsciously to tap into their truth as well. And through that, they see your value. And then, if people are treating you correctly, you have so much to give. Because if you're not giving out of fear, if you're not giving because you feel like, oh, if I'm not doing this, then I'm not living out my sense of purpose, but you're giving because your cup of energy is overflowing. Yeah, people will see what you give to them. Not everybody, but if you give without expecting anything in return, a lot of people will see that as something great. A lot of people will appreciate it because you don't need them to see your worth. You don't need them to appreciate you. You already have such a sense of self of, this is what I'm doing in order to feel fulfilled. This is what I'm doing in order to tap into my purpose in life. And through that, they can really allow themselves to either stand in your truth, allow it to affect them, allow it for them to transform them, and they will see that transformation. People will grow from that. So if you want a metaphor for this, imagine you don't have to go to the depths of where they are in their, vibrational frequency or in their pain and think like that's going to make them see your value. They just see pain at that moment. You are a reflection of that pain. That isn't going to help them. But if you stand up and through living and standing in your truth, you're actually becoming a rock, a mountain, something that is high up that they can climb up on, you're reaching out and allowing people to get to your level. You're raising them up with you. Because at the end of the day, what is raising up? I'm not saying, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to be very popular and you can have that too. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. And we all know that's not true fulfillment. True fulfillment is you standing in your truth, you being able to be of purpose, you being able to be of service, you bringing out your unique truth, and you being able to connect with people through that. Everybody wants that. And you, by being an example of that, are allowing people to work through all of their stuff to get to that place as well. Because at the end of the day, that's who we all are. It's just all of the conditioning, all of the pain, all of the trauma that every one of us has experienced that is keeping us from that. And the only way to, rise above it is if you actually confront yourself with it and you grow. And that's not going to happen by you removing the pain from them. You being your best self, if that is triggering to other people and you very often can sense it, those are actually people you very often want to help. But you choosing yourself, that's actually allowing them to grow. It allows them to see you in your best as a reflection of who they could be. And they standing in their truth isn't being like you. It's just tapping into their own truth. And people will see your worth so often. Exactly those people that you wanted to help, exactly those people that couldn't accept your help. Those are the people who very often will see your worth when they're willing to stand in that discomfort. And it's not on us if people are ready to stand on that discomfort. But what is on us is to show up as our biggest, best version, as uniquely us as we possibly can, as authentically us as we possibly can. Knowing that we cannot make people start their healing journey. We cannot make people, tap into their depths that they're so afraid of. But if there is a way, if there's a part that we can do, it's actually doing what is best for our soul, elevating ourselves. Because through that, we allow other people to get inspired by it if they feel ready for it and if they have any interest in that. Because that's everybody's prerogative. You don't have to heal in this life. You can go through life miserable all the way through. And that's your right. That's not a choice we can make for other people. But by us doing what goes against our first intuition of, oh, I'm going to sacrifice myself for you, and saying, no, I'm going to do what is best for me. I'm not going to give up my peace. Because that's what it is, true inner peace. Living in our truth, being okay and experiencing life in this holistic way, that's what's best for us. And we're not taking anything away from anybody. And if that includes us feeling like, oh, I'm going to listen to music that makes me feel really powerful, okay, then that's it. If that means I'm going to walk around feeling like I'm the king of the world, that's not taking anything away from anybody. Everybody can walk and feel great about themselves. You're not putting other people down by that. Just because they cannot tap into that yet, you allow them to tap into it as well. Because we're not creating an image of, oh, I'm better than you and I want you to be a follower of mine and, worship me. And, we're not going to have a dynamic where I'm suppressing you. It's more like I'm going to be everything that I can be. And I hope everybody around me can love who they are as well so we can meet because I want that connection. But the only way a connection can happen that is authentically us, that, fuels our soul, that creates this win-win relationship, is if we're being as much of ourselves as we possibly can, and through that inspire others to rise themselves up as well. Remember, if you want my personal help in tapping into the next layer of your evolution, then work with me one-on-one. If you want to go a different route, check out the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. I also have a lot of free material. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.